only the software is not tested, the software not ready, is full of defect, full of bugs, right? So we also learned that how early detection reduce the cost, right? And late detection will cost high. So today what we are going to talk, we are going to talk about the testing aspects, which means that whenever as a tester, what are the aspects of testing, how we do testing. Okay, so basically every, even in account, we learn the rule of account, right? So in the similar way, we have some rules and patterns and techniques when it comes to software testing. So in software testing, there are some principles. So first principle which says that testing shows presence of defect. Means that testing can show the presence of defect but cannot prove that there are no defects. It's not a proof of correctness. As a tester, when we are testing a particular software using test cases and different methods, tools and techniques. So a software tester or a testing, the objective of testing is to find a bug, find a defect on the software, right? So it says, but it cannot prove that there are no defects. It is not a proof of correctness. A small issue, a small glitch in the system, in the application, in the software, okay, which can be avoidable. However, it means that whenever software tester we are testing that there are defects, but we cannot prove them. How? Why we are saying that? That's not a proof of correctness. Is, for an example, if a particular software, okay, if a particular software has issues which can be avoided, so doing software test will be able to understand that there is a presence of defect. Means maybe by near future it can cause a big impact. It can come out with a big bug or a big defect. So there are the small issues in the early stages that needs to be detected. Otherwise, they are going to be possibility that those particular issues, those particular bugs can be disaster at some point of time. So that's why we say that there is no proof. Like it's not a proof of correctness. It means that the software is not accurate, not completely free. Okay, it has some capacity, it has some measurement, and following that particular matrices, software will run better. If we forcefully do something that is out of the capacity, okay, then it is going to cause defect. It is going to cause issues, glitch. It can be anything from hanging the software, downtime, okay, crashing the software, crashing the applications. These are the things that can be in the early stage of software development and testing. Fine, perfect. So the next says that early testing. Testing activities should start as early as possible in system development life cycle. It means, as we said in the previous module, that a developer should do alpha testing in order to know that whatever the code has been implemented, whatever the program or the module that has been designed is working correctly or not. So it should be done early, right? Defect clustering, a small modules contain most of the defect discovered during the releases or are responsible for most of the operation failures. So to understand this, we'll go to the screen and we'll see a practical example. Okay, here I'll be opening Flipkart website, e-commerce website, right? So once we open a Flipkart website, we'll be able to measure that what are the things that we are just talking about. What is basically defect clustering means. Okay, so we build a software. Okay, so there's a two-way that once it is pre-released, it means the software is not yet released or yet to release, and we are finding the issues with test software, right? And it is that it is already hand over to the client. It is hand over to the real world, right? And then the issues are coming. So defect clustering means what it tries to understand the small modules. So say for an example, in my login module, my login module. So in the login module, it is me to keep. or email ID. That should be the requirement. That is the requirement of the software. That is how the software should behave. But what we saw that we are not getting any option for email ID. We are getting only for this. Consider this, that this only mobile number is visible and not the email ID. So we can only see a small module which is a login module, and within this small module there's a small section which is login section through your phone number or email ID. Within this we are able to log in or register ourselves with the email ID, sorry, with the phone number. However, there is no option for the email ID. So that is also known as defect clustering. It means that a particular defect or a bug has been arise in a small module of a software. Next is, it says that responsible for the operation failure. Now tell me one thing, if you are unable to log in, then how you are going to do the other uh, further steps, whatever it is, whether it's related to purchase, exploring product or something like that, right? So it is possible. So it's an operation failure, because if I'm not unable to log in, then I cannot add product to my cart, I cannot see the price. So yeah, of course we can see the products, but we cannot add the product to the cart or buy now, right? So this is the operation failure of the software. Next is pesticidal or pesticide paradox. If same tests are prepared over eventually, no defects can be found in that. To overcome this pesticidal paradox, the test cases needs to be regularly reviewed and revised. So say for an example, this is a module, okay? Now within this module, there are three or more issues that has been detected. So for an example, it says that okay, enter your phone number, it will trigger an OTP. So I enter instead of 10, okay, and then it is asking me to trigger an OTP. But the problem is, ideally it should not request an OTP with a 9-digit phone number, because that's not a valid, right? However, what we can see that it is still getting triggered even with 9-digit phone number. So it means there is a one defect. Next, when I'm putting, it says that please enter your valid email ID or phone number, but in my case, in the defect cases, it will not show, it will proceed further. Now when I put the actual number and click on request an OTP, then it should trigger the OTP to my phone number, to my registered mobile number, or the number that I have entered, right? But what is happening is that the OTP is not getting triggered to the mobile number. I am not receiving the OTP at any point of time, even after 1 hour, 24 hour, 48 hours. This is a defect number 2. Okay, what else? Say for an example, uh, I have just clicked on the OTP section. A OTP got triggered to my phone number, but when I'm entering the OTP that is received on my phone number, okay, it's, even though I am entering the correct OTP, it says that OTP is incorrect, right? Because that's the correct OTP that I am entering, but still it is giving me an error. It is saying that no, this is a wrong OTP. So this is the third error. Basically what it means, that whenever I am writing test cases or I am planning for to test the software, then I should come out with different method, right? First I will check that whether it is working with 9-digit number or not. Okay, I checked it. Then I should write a test cases regarding whether after entering the 10-digit valid phone number, it should trigger an OTP. Okay, then I will write that whatever the OTP received, then it should be a correct OTP, right? So there are the three test cases that we are applying. There are three methods we are applying to test the login OTP module. Okay, but what if you are coming with only one and we are repeating it again and again? Say for an example, the OTP is not getting triggered to the phone number. A phone number is not triggering the OTP. The login module, we are unable to verify the OTP. So see what is happening over there is that we're testing only the OTP module, but we are writing the kind of same test case again and again. We are applying same method again and again. So if there are three issues which are different, okay, in terms of technicality, these three issues are different, should come out with different test cases, different method to check each and every steps. But what I am doing, I am just writing the same test cases again and again, and I'm expecting that it should give me a different result, it should come out with a different bug. No, it won't, because you are writing that same test cases, you are executing the same method to test the software. Each test cases or test plan that you do needs to be unique. That is what it says. if some test cases are prepared over, okay, or repeated over, eventually no defects can be found because we are repeating the same thing. To overcome this pesticidal paradox, the test cases needs to be regularly reviewed and revised. Okay. Next, most important, prioritize says so that whenever you stop testing, you have done the best testing at that time available. So once the product is delivered to the tester for testing purpose, if when we say that we saw in the requirement section that test closure, right? The above sections. Test closure means what? When I'm saying that I have closed my test, I have done the best testing possible for that particular time. Okay. It means I have tested, twisted, I have written, I have planned different test cases, I have used different methods, and this is the best testing for that particular time frame that I have done or a tester has completed. Next, let's say that who are the participant who involved in this testing phases. So first is developer. What developer do? They do unit testing. Unit testing means, for example, a particular software has very different units. One is login, one is registration, one is add to cart, and different. So developing that method, that function, writing that particular code, he should test once one particular unit or one particular module is that particular, whatever the data flow is working as expected on, that is done by the developer, is called a developer, and tester both combine participant, which is known as integration testing. Integration testing means that we integrate many things around the software. We test the software into different browser, different operating system, different hardware, right? Kind of things. We check it with without any secure socket layer. We check it with a different, which use different tools. Basically, what I'm doing here, I'm integrating many things, test the software to check the software that can be done. A particularly software tester when a project will, so that will be system integration. It means that I will check that, say for example, there is a version Chrome which is 4.4.9 for example, and we do have a similar browser, different updated version, right? We will check the environment of the software, that if it is working on Chrome 4.4.1 or 4.9.1, then it working with its, like, with this other browsers available in the market like Mozilla, Firefox, Internet Explorer, right? Will check as well. So this is known as system integration testing. We'll check that which processor it is supporting. We'll check that what are the hardware components required to run that particular application software. So this is system integration testing. The next or the last testing which is done, which is acceptance testing. It means, say for an example, that I have tested a particular software, and within this, now it's time to test it into the real world. Means as a user, how I will experience that particular software. I'm able to with different browser or not. I'm able to open it with a low internet connection and high internet bandwidth. There are kind of things that will be tested, because when a user use a particular software, it doesn't care about the environment, right? Is the tester and developer is the software and the environment compatibility. Software should be well good, right? That's why user acceptance testing is the most important test. That is when software is released in the real world for the users, for the customer. Customer use it, find it relevant, they give feedback, they give questions, they do complaints, and we get to know whether there is bug or what. Then the software will be quality. Software will quality application, whatever it is. So I hope you are able to and different type of participants and different type of thing available.